Shalom. You ever notice how they use us as cheerleaders? They use us to like serenade their events and serenade their ceremonies. We're the ones that they bring out to get people hype for their events. You ever notice that? You know, and for the things that they want to sell to the people of the world, for the things that they want to get people excited about. Quite often they'll use an Israelite to set it off. I was looking at the opening of the World Series tonight, and they had it where they have that like a celebrity, like a musician. This time it was Travis Scott, talking up the players and everything, and talking up hyping up the game and everything before it gets started. And I noticed that's like a little trend that they got going now. Like I noticed that like in the basketball playoff games, they do that, in the football season, football game, like the Super Bowl or something like that. They do that. They always have like a prominent, typically Israelite musician or celebrity or someone talking up the whole game, talking up the league and all that different kind of stuff. I mean, they use us as these, we're like the cheerleaders at a prep rally. They use us to get people hype about things, and it's kind of like they're using our energy to make something of theirs seem greater than what it is, and we've always noticed things like that. We've noticed how we'll come up with something and it might gain a little attention, but then they'll get a hold of it and then they'll take it to the next level. It's like they get a hold of some of our energy and then they use that to skyrocket their careers. I mean, some of the best non-Israelite singers today, who do they sing like? They sing like Israelites. It's like, when you think about it, it's like almost, I mean, sometimes I just kind of think like, are these people like siphons or something like that? Do they siphon our energy away from us? The siphoning of this energy, is it like, not only does it affect creativity, but it could also maybe affect lifespans, and health. I mean, just imagine if these people are like, they literally suck our life force from us. And it could be something like they don't even intentionally understand it. They don't even know what they're doing. It's just that when they get around us, they get healthier and we get sicker. Something like that. Some kind of just, something that neither party truly understands what's happening. It's like little things that you kind of wish you could have like the data on, like overall health. What was the overall health of Israelites prior to integration? When we were still segregated from them, what was our overall health like, and what was their overall health like? I wonder if maybe while we were segregated, our health was actually better than theirs. Then when we became integrated, when we started mixing up with them and being around them more and more, our health actually started to deteriorate and their health got better. That would explain a whole lot of stuff, especially, this would be something that their leaders know about. And so that would really, really, really explain the desire to keep us around. You got to watch the psychological games these people play too. The idea that the psychological game that they play with us is to make us want to stay around them, to make us willing to fight to stay around them. It's the perfect psychological game to play on a people who you need something from. You make them think that they need you. while in reality, you're the one that needs them. And so that's why you'll catch these trolls, these racist trolls that get to talking this kind of stuff, like saying, black people, we gonna send you back to Africa and everything like that. And they say that to make us mad, to say, nah, we ain't going back to Africa. This is our country. And they be like, nah, our ancestors made this country, blah, 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 blah. So they get you fighting over your place in this country, But the whole psychology behind it is to get you want to stay here and around them more so than anything else. When in reality, they're the ones that benefit the most from that. See? Now, there's a lot of that going on. There's a lot of kind of psychology that they use against us. They've been using this for so long, and we have to be careful of it. Our best course of action is segregation. It really is. Even if we're still in this country, our best course of action is segregation. I have a feeling that would be the best course of action, to be able to wall ourselves off from these people, from these heathens, from these Gentiles, from these non-Israelites, and that just seems to be probably the most toughest thing really, when you look at the possibilities for us in this country, us segregating from these people is probably the least likeliest thing that can happen. They literally have us surrounded. And it probably was that mindset, that possibility that drove them to drive us into the inner cities. They quite literally tricked us into the cities, and then they built their cities around us. Hence the inner cities, inner city ghettos, They tricked us in it, and then they built their cities around us, siphoning our energy, siphoning any creativity that came out of us, So it's extremely hard to envision segregation. And truly something like that would only happen after a collapse of civilization. The walls of the prison would have to be broken down. Disaster would have to strike on a national, hell, maybe even planetary scale. And there's some Israelites out there that have some very fantasy, well, I won't call it fantasy, but extreme views about what we are truly capable of and what the future truly holds. I've watched some videos where cats are talking about hidden powers that will unlock once the sun goes through some type of change or something like that. I try to stay away from those more extreme views. Not that I wouldn't like to see something like that and experience something like that, but it's more along the lines of not wanting to really get your hopes up for stuff like that. Try to stay a bit more grounded, kind of focus more on the tangible things that we can do right now. Yeah, it'll be great, if we were bestowed some type of superpowers or something. Yes, that would be great. That'd be great, hell, it wouldn't be great for our enemies, but it would be great for us, But I try to, I think right now it's really best to look at the more, I don't want to say realistic, but the more in our face, tangible possibilities. A civil collapse is very tangible. It's very possible. And from that civil collapse, us working together as a people and basically isolating ourselves from everyone else is also very tangible and very possible. Now, should a supernova happen on the sun and blast the earth with some type of light that unlocks our latent abilities and everything after that, hey, that'll be crunk, you know what I'm saying? But, I think if we can just stop attacking one another, start seeing our only true enemies as the people that see us as their enemies, and take on this very isolationist mentality, one that they obviously have always labored to keep us from having. I think that would work out to our favor very well. And that they've always wanted us not to be the isolationists by mind. They've always wanted us to be the ones who include everyone and want to be included. That's where that forgiveness stuff comes from. It's the desire to want to be accepted. It's that desire to want to be part of the gang. They've always made us feel like we were the ones that should want to be inclusive because we want to be included. You see, it hit us with that psychology. If you want people to include you, y'all should be very accepting and including of everyone else, But then it turns around, we come to find out that we're literally like the batteries for this civilization. They're draining us dry to keep their shit running, to keep their power running, to keep their lights on. We're literally like batteries and stuff like that. So when it comes to who should be wanting to be around who, we should be the last ones wanting to be included in anything. But yeah, when it comes to these people wanting something hyped up, when it comes to wanting something to seem like it's great and everybody should get into it, usually they'll employ one of us to hype it up, one of our celebrities, or if they don't employ one of us to hype it up, they'll use a method that we, a way of hyping stuff up. They'll use that themselves, But when it comes to us being cheerleaders, we're down for it. We're down for anything that has a $sign on it. You can get an Israelite to cheer about anything. You can get an Israelite to cheer about his own death. It seems like, we'll destroy ourselves to hype up something of someone else, as long as the price is right. World's greatest cheerleaders. They just throw us some pom-poms and a check, and a Negro will get out there and hype it up. An Israelite will get out there and hype it up. It's a shame. Siphoning our energy, siphoning our life force to promote their world. The world that we were drug into, kicking and screaming. But perhaps, when it's all said and done, we'll leave it laughing and with all the glory. Shalom.